Here we go.
There we go.
We're off.
Lights out.
Half an hour of racing underway.
Can't stop addicted to the shindig. Chop chop, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not to like of imitation. Distant us into the reservation. The pistol that you pay for. This part the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go ask the dust for any answers. Come back strong with 50 million answers. The world I love, the tears I've dropped to be part of the wave can't stop. Ever wonder if it's all for you?
Here we go.
There we go.
We're off.
Lights out.
Half an hour of racing underway.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to another ACM stream. We're doing Supercharged Sunday then, once again at Spa this time for round 2, 45-minute race. Obviously we had a 60-minute race last time round, and obviously it's going to be quite an interesting one. Spa is quite a tricky track for some of these cars, and maybe some better than others. We're just watching Harry finish the end of his lap then. How was his lap, Harry, generally?
I'm just trying to set a valid lap, to be honest. It's the start of qualifying. Obviously, pressures are still coming up to where they should be. Just getting a banker lap in, and obviously Eusebi pitches my lap by quite a bit, so no surprises there.
No surprises there indeed. Obviously, Eusebi very quick indeed, but obviously there was quite a fair few quicker people as well in qualifying, and those were the Fords of Donate and Williams. As we know, they've been very, very strong in the Mustang, and so they'll be looking for another good performance. But I just noticed a quick mistake on the stream, so I'll just quickly be back in just a second to fix that for you guys.
Here we go.
There we go.
We're off.
Lights out.
Half an hour of racing underway.
Okay, sorry about that, but we are back then for obviously this. We just seen Donate then 2:16.0. To be honest, the fastest time we saw in practice was 16.8, and I didn't expect it to get much faster than that. But obviously, I've been proven wrong already. 8 minutes to go in quali, and Donate's already set a time 1.1 seconds quicker than Eusebi in seconds. So we know they are fast, but obviously with a Ford like that, with the ballast that we have, it's quite unstoppable at the moment. And he still is up on the delta at the moment, not by much, but it's incredible. He might even get into the 2:15s, which is absolutely insane. Not something I thought I'd see today, but there you go. Down was then Kelly. I know Kelly was trying out a new car today. He's in the 488, of course. He said he bought it off Timu. He thought he bought a 296, but I don't know. He's setting good pace at the moment, and he's currently half a second up on the lap time as he comes around to the middle part of the track, and he'll be looking to try and make his way up into the top 10 for quali. It actually sounds quite nice, that Ferrari. I have missed the sound of that. Obviously old cars then today, obviously we know it's all part of career mode, and obviously each driver gets to purchase and try out their new cars. Kelly said it was a bargain. Well, at the moment I'd imagine so. He's doing just fine at the moment, but Hanak then went third, now fourth, set a 2:17.3 and the person that beat him to that, obviously Bruno, in the BMW then as well, as Zanak beats him again. So obviously these two quite close on the lap times. It's about a tenth between these two. Usby then getting into the 16s, but more importantly, Donate is in the pit lane as he's set to 2:15.9. To be honest, it was coming. You could tell it was coming. Really incredible to see the lap time that he's managed to produce. Meanwhile then, Michael Firth in the Ferrari, currently 8 tenths up on the lap time. It's going to be a great lap time for Michael as he crossed the line into 3rd place. That's a very strong lap time from Michael then. That's a 17.1, so almost into the 16s for Michael, and he'll be looking to try and push onwards. As we look further down the grid then, Nikkonen currently in the 18th, 18.1, he's currently 2 tenths up on the lap time, and he'll be looking to make his way up into the top 5, as he's actually, just for perspective on how big the gap is to Donate's, Nikkonen in 6th is 2.1 seconds down from Donate, so we know that Mustang is very fast, but that is really fast. I'll have to hopefully maybe get a replay, well, we'll have to see in chat if he manages to get a replay of that lap, because I'd like to watch that. That must have been quite incredible. Meanwhile then, other people up on the lap time is Harry. Harry's currently 7 tenths up on the lap time as he comes across the line then. It'll be P12 to P10, not the biggest improvement, but he'll look onwards as he's quite close to a couple cars ahead to work his way up in the more upper areas of the top 10. Meanwhile then, I think maybe Maple's just gone up into P6, pushes Harry out of the top 10, and a very strong lap from Maple. That's an 18.0 in the Porsche. Very nice lap time indeed. Meanwhile then, Michael Firth then, currently 2.5 tenths up on the lap time. So we know he set a strong lap before, and it's going to be another strong lap, I think. Again, he's going to get into the 16s with this. If he just holds on to the lap nicely, it looks nice and tight, through these final corners. Currently 2 tenths up on the lap time. It will put him into the 16s. But meanwhile, in terms of sectors, literally Donate is purple in all of them, as expected, and by quite a way. It's 3 tenths in sector 1, 5 tenths in sector 2, and another 3 tenths in sector 3. So that is some serious lap time and pace from Donate, as he's actually up on the lap time, but his lap time is invalidated. But yeah, the first thing come across the line is a 1.5 tenths improvement, and that will put him just outside the 16. It'll be a 2:17.0. Not enough at the moment then. But meanwhile, Rasmus Omran then is currently hovering around the 6 tenths up on the Delta in the Bentley, and he'll be looking to push his way into the 17s if he can hold the lap nicely. He does gain a little bit more time for this tricky left-right section, and is still hovering around the 6/10 mark at the moment. Needs a little bit more to get into the 17, but he's doing just fine in that Bentley. He loses a lot of time on the exit of 16, and that has cost him around 4 tenths of lap time. That's not ideal at all in the Bentley, but he's going to lose lap time all the way down this back straight then as he heads towards the final couple of corners. And yeah, he's still losing time. He's lost about half a tenth already just on that straight alone. He comes into the final couple of corners then. He's actually gaining a little bit of time back, but it's not going to be a great amount from what he had, but it's going to be around 2.5 tenths of improvement, and it will go P12 then, and that's where he'll stay. He's just behind Longo in that 56 Ferrari as well, so plenty of lap time to be found for these guys. And meanwhile then, Hatim in the 69 Audi, currently 2 tenths up, but just invalidated, I believe, just then and there, unfortunately. But they'll be looking to put in a strong lap time, as they haven't set a lap time yet. The only other person that hasn't set a lap time at the moment, sorry, I don't know what I did that, but you can see is Abassi in the 227 Mustang as well. hasn't set a lap time, and he's on his lap now. But more importantly, Williams is 2.5 tenths up on the delta. He's still in the 16s at the moment, but he'll be looking to try and, well, I would hope, try and match his teammate if he can, because what is the gap at the moment? Because Donate has a second on Newsby, and his lap time at 2:15.7, so he's just finding more and more time, and he is currently up on the delta, but we'll stay with Williams for now. He's currently 3 tenths up, and this will be Williams trying to beat Newsby. To the thing, as you can see, Newsby's in the pit, so it won't be another lap for Newsby. I did forget to mention that, but obviously only last couple of laps then for these drivers, as Williams still 3 tenths up on the delta at the moment, and he'll be looking for quite a strong finish this lap if he wants to try beat Newsby. Currently 3.5 tenths up on the delta. It will be enough for now. He only needs roughly about 2 tenths, but one small mistake can really cost him that. But it looks nice and tidy for Williams through this sector as he comes on the back straight. 3.5 tenths at the moment. Has lost a little bit of time on the exit, and he's going to slowly drop time. It's not a lot of drop time, but is dropping time. So as long as he doesn't mess up this final right left, he should be just fine. As Donate currently down on the delta then, so it won't be an improvement for Donate, thankfully. I was start to get a bit worried, but Williams then finds a little bit of time in this sector, and 4 tenths gained then, and that will improve him to P2. So it's a very strong lap from Williams then, but Donate not improving, but Samuel is. Samuel's currently 2 tenths up. This will be their final lap. They've only just started it, so it'll be around 2 tenths still as they come up Eau Rouge. 2 tenths, he's found the time at the moment up the hill, and he's going to gain all that time down the back straight. As he comes towards this, will put him into the 17s if he does complete this lap. He loses a little bit of time of entry. McLaren a little bit twitchy. You can see it twitching again as he comes round the right hander, then a little bit wide into the gravel, and that's unfortunately into the barrier for Samuel. Maybe a little bit too much, but Nikon then also trying to find some time, trying to get himself into the 17s. It's a 1 tenth improvement at the moment for Nikon. It's currently 4 tenths up on the delta as he comes through this sector. Looking very strong at the moment, takes all the curl on the outside. We'll go on passenger cam just to see what it looks like. You can see how tight he's trying to hug to the inside of this apex. He's going to have to hold it nice and tight over the curves on the left for the maximum time gain. He avoids them, but he goes all the way to the outside. Still a very, very strong lap as he comes towards Pua now then. It's 5 tenths up on the delta for Nikon as he comes then to the left hand and very nicely held for a very stable as he comes around and hugs the left hand side. At the moment, looking like a very strong lap, 5.5 tenths improvement, and this, well, if I could calculate it properly, it should put him way within the top 10 if he holds it nicely. He's 6 tenths now, 7 tenths gains. He comes around towards 16 now, nice and tight again, runs out wide perfectly, hugs inside again. Very lovely lap, but it's going to be an invalidation for Nikon, just a little bit too much on the exit unfortunately, and that will be his lap. But Longo just finishing his then, 3 tenths improvement, and that will put him into the top 10 and unfortunately puts Nikon down into P12. It was looking like a great lap from Nikon, but unfortunately the exit curve just getting the better of him on that run. But someone still on that lap then is Thiago Donate. He's pretty much equal with the lap time at the moment, but he is one of our only runners on the track at the moment, one of 3, and this will be his final lap. So unless he can find any time in these final couple of corners, it won't be an improvement, but still a massive achievement to be 8 tenths ahead of the P2. This is definitely a lap for Donate, but he has found time in the final couple of corners to be around a 10th improvement now, half a tenth, but still as he comes to the line, he's going to lose the time. It's going to be equal with the time, and it won't be an improvement for Donate, but still an incredible lap time. He set a 15.7, 8 tenths, 8.5 tenths ahead of his teammate in P2. It's honestly really incredible lap times. I wasn't expecting to see a 15 here today, but we got a 15 anyway. Yeah. As you see then, it's a 777, yet to come across the line. They are an invalid lap, so it won't count, but still completing the last car to complete qualifying at the moment. But yeah, I mean, wow. 15.7. That's not a lap time I was expecting to see. Harry, were you expecting a 15?
To be honest, probably not. But considering it's Donate, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that's. I think pretty sure that's what we're all thinking. But yeah, I mean, I said in practice the fastest time was a 16.8. I think I said. He's beat that by about 1.1 seconds. So if that tells you something, I don't know what else does. But looking like quite an interesting quali then. We know Donate is quite quick here then. So he'll be looking to pull away. But everyone else actually relatively close. P7 all the way down to P15 within 8/10 of each other. So they'll be looking for a good midfield battle. Then we'll have to keep an eye on that as they go forward. And even P2 to P6 also within around 8/10 of each other. So we should get a good podium fight as well. So definitely looking forward to all of that. But we'll quickly go for a short break and then we'll return when these guys get away for their formation laps.
Here we go.
There we go.
We're off
Lights
skip.
out.
Half an hour of racing underway.
Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop top, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not to like no imitation. Distant us into the reservation. The pistol that you play for. This part the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go ask the dust for any answers. Come back strong with 50 belly dancers. The world I love, the tears I drop to be part of the wave can't stop. Ever wonder if it's all for you?
Here we go.
There we go.
We're off skip.
Lights out.
Half an hour of racing underway.
Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop top, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not to like no imitation. Distant us into the reservation. The pistol that you play for. This part the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go ask the dust for any answers. Come back strong with 50 belly dancers. The world I love, the tears I drop to be part of the wave can't stop. Ever wonder if it's all for you?
Alright then, we are away for the formation lap very shortly and they should be getting underway. Now you can see Donate pulling away then. I mean, yeah, I was just having a conversation with Harry about how insane that lap time was. It's definitely going to be quite an interesting race to see how it plays out and if he can pull away. And we have to obviously find out and wait and see, of course. But we'll start from the last place on the grid because we don't do that all too often. Is Leopard then in P21 at the moment, a 777 BMW. He'll be the last place runner on qualifying, and he'll be looking to try and gain as many places as possible. Then it's Loic in the McLaren, and he'll be looking And also to try and make his way up in the grid. Then it's Will Gossel then in the Audi. Probably not where he ideally want to be, but still many places ahead of him to catch up. We got Omar then also in the Audi, and then we got Daniel in the Lexus, so another car we haven't seen. Oh, we have seen quite a bit since career mode, but generally in league racing you don't see it all too much. So great to see another car. And obviously Kelly, like I mentioned, in the 488, and he'll be looking for a great result as well. P15 for Kelly, and he'll be looking to try and get his way up into the top 10. Same with Harry then. Harry looking to try and get his way upwards into the top 10. Had a great result out in the 2 out of Kyle Army, so maybe not particularly where you want to be at the moment, but plenty of positions to be gained. Then we got Abassi in the Ford Mustang, so it's the only other Mustang on the track at the moment, and currently in 13th place. Then it's Samuel in the McLaren MP12 for Samuel. Great qualifying for him, and he'll be looking to push onwards inside the top 10. Nikon, we know he had the lap time to go quite high up into the top 10, but just couldn't complete it. Got all over the curbs out of 16 and 17, and unfortunately invalidated the lap time. So he'll be starting P11, and then it'll be Longo in P10. Then the 56 Ferrari, another great result for Longo in qualifying, and he'll be looking as well to go a lot higher in quali. If you see Samuel, I don't think that's the most ideal line on a formation lap. Either way then got the Bentley of Omran. We know some of these older cars, especially like the Bentley and the Lexus, they're still very viable and still very competitive, so we'll have to see how he gets on as he moves onwards. And I think it's probably a best qualifying for Maple then. We usually see them a little bit further down, but has today qualified in P8, and we'll be looking to have a very solid race at Spa. Indeed, we know the Porsche generally is very nice and quick around here, and they'll be looking for a good result. You got Barry Gibbons then in the 137 McLaren, and he'll be looking for a good result as well. And then it's Bruno. We know he was quick, and I don't think he maybe had the best of qualifying because he's starting in P6 at the moment. But either way, he'll be looking for a good result for him in the BMW. So then Hanak, we know Hanak, he'll be looking for a fantastic launch in that McLaren. McLaren is one of the fastest cars around Spa, so we'll have to keep an eye on how he gets along. Michael Firth then had a fantastic qualifying once again, and puts his Ferrari up into P4 then, just behind Newsby as well. And then obviously it's the 1-2 of the Ford Mustangs then, and both Donate and Williams, fantastic pace from the both of them. Obviously Donate still 8/10 ahead of his teammate, and obviously Williams was a little bit more in reach for Newsby and Michael behind, but either way, very quick. As you can see, Newsby maybe not taking the optimal racing line, but he's going to have to catch up, because obviously it's not this straight they go, but it is the next straight that if Newsby doesn't catch up, he's going to get teleported back to the box. But I think Newsby's just made that just fine, but not really ideally what you want for the tyres. But these guys will now start to put them next to each other and box by box formation, and we should get away. I mean, 2 Mustangs leading us off the line then. That's going to be quite impressive. Actually, Nikonen's made a potential mistake on the formation lap, so another car's made it, but Nikonen's also going to make up to his box before he gets teleported. But I think he's done that as well, so good for Nikonen. Either way then, I don't know where the line is about on anything. I think it is the actual line, but we'll have to find out. But here's the 2 Mustangs then, waiting for green flag racing. I think that is probably the better camera angle there. You can see the line, and green is now, and that's a great start for Michael Firth. Even better for Williams as well, but I think he holds off from his own teammate. See Hanak's actually around the outside of USB. Usually gets forced off or goes off, and it's still 2 Mustangs leading then as they come down the back straight. You can see Hanak's had a fantastic start. I don't think Williams actually looking to pressure his teammate at all, but someone that is pressuring is Hanak, as he did think about it going into this twisty section, but someone is trying to make another move on Newsby. Newsby's losing places left and right. Unfortunately, I think fortunately gets away from that BMW luckily, but there's plenty of side-by-side action. I think Maple's lost a fair few positions off the start as well. I think that Harry's made a few as well, so a great start for Harry as well. But plenty of position changes already on this opening lap, but it is still 2 Mustangs leading us away. I think Williams is holding off from his own teammate. He knows how quick Donate is and doesn't want to make that move just yet. He's been losing multiple positions on the first lap then. He was going to lose out to Hanak anyway. That was a given off the start. You cannot really go up against the acceleration of that McLaren. But either way then, Michael Firth is actually on the back of Williams. He doesn't make a mistake into the twisty section of this track, and that's actually going to compromise his line, actually put him off a few tenths from these two then. But I think Harry's made another place. You're just talking about Harry and Kelly, how they want to work their way up into the top 10, but Harry's already P8. It's a great start for Harry, and here we're looking onwards to try and catch the Bentley just ahead of him. Meanwhile then, I think Pryor has lost a few positions. As you can see, a massive scramble of cars. There's a car off in the background as well. That's Loic in the McLaren, but you can see these guys are almost going 3 wide towards this corner, one of the fastest corners on this circuit. And you can see it all filing in, luckily, and no, not too much action. But I think Pryor's going to potentially look for a move on Will into this corner. Will brakes a lot later than Pryor does and gets it away. Pryor gone a little bit deep. That's going to compromise him to Omar in the background. I can see BMW also trying to make the double pass on both these guys. Nikon's had an absolute terrible start as he's down in P19. And then we're looking to get past, but Omar then going for the path on Pryor. As I think actually Omar's going to get away with that. He is, but Nikon then not the best start for Nikon, and he'll be looking to push onwards. But meanwhile then, Maple cutting a Rouge. Maybe not the biggest cut I've seen today, but that's still a cut. But Samuel on Harry then, so re-overtake. Obviously Harry's can't do much about that. The McLaren upper Rouge is pretty incredible, and there's not much Harry can do about that. But Harry makes a mistake, and Harry's off into the grass. That's not really what he wants, as he finds himself in the barriers and spinning across the track, luckily avoiding all the other cars, but unfortunate. That does set him back almost where he started. Not really what he wanted, but still then, and that does obviously allow Samuel to keep P8 for now, and he'll be looking to catch after the Bentley just ahead, who is catching Barry Gibbons in the McLaren as well. We know the McLarens are really quick here, and as I said, I mean, just watching Samuel overtake Harry, I think that's just one side of the story really. But meanwhile then, the top 5 are still relatively close to each other. It's around 3 seconds between the top 5, so we'll have to keep an eye on this, but you can see the Mustangs starting to pull away from Michael. Gaps around second, so obviously these Mustangs are really quick indeed, and they'll be looking to continue on their 1-2. Meanwhile then, I think we actually got Will trying to make a move on Harry as well, so Harry's continuing to lose positions. Maybe a little bit of damage on that Aston Martin, that's not really wanted, but meanwhile you see Nikon getting all in the gravel and the curb again as he looks to chase after Prime. But meanwhile actually Nikon does hold the fastest lap of the race, but that was to be expected from the start. But I'm going to imagine Donate will be setting that. Yeah, it's a 17.8. Identical lap times from the top 2 then. It's an 17.865 for both of them. So both of them hold the purple lap time as indicated in the top left. That's not something you see all too often. Identical lap times for them both. Wow. I mean, if that shows you how strong these two drivers are, then I don't even know what to say. I mean, those guys are so quick. Meanwhile then, Hanak's dropped off a little bit from Michael. It's actually allowed Usby to catch Hanak, so potentially Usby trying to make a pass on Hanak as well. We'll have to see how he gets on with that. Meanwhile Maple is actually on the back of Samuel. Samuel defending all the way to the inside, so maybe seeing a threat, but not much of a threat from the Porsche on a straight line. The Porsche is incredibly slow compared to the McLaren in a straight line, but it's mainly the battle of the corners between these two as they look to progress upwards. Currently both of them still in the top 10, so it's still a great positions for them both. But meanwhile then, still Usby actually going a little bit wide into that corner. It invalidates his lap time, so maybe really pushing to the limits to try to stay with these guys, but can't do it unfortunately at the moment. But still the gap's hovering around a second for much all cars at the moment, except from a few at the back. So incredible to see. We've only had 5 minutes of racing, of course, but plenty more of it. Either way, currently watching Longo, who's currently behind Maple, who's currently behind Samuel. So a little train going on. Obviously, they want to try and pass the leader of the train and pull away as much as possible. In other news then, USB has unfortunately is outside of that second to Anak, so Lucas potentially just trying to push onwards and try to catch Michael as much as he can, and try to get that podium place, of course. Either way, that was a fantastic start from all of them, really. I mean, USB losing out the most on that one, unfortunately, but either way, it was a fantastic race to see at the start. And still watching them, Longo and Abasti, as they try and catch Maple and Samuel and try and make their way. You see Kelly lurking in the background as well. Kelly's only 2.1 seconds behind, so Kelly will be looking to try and catch up in his new 488 Ferrari. Meanwhile then, Donate 16.8 last time, unfortunately not identical lap times this time round, as he's actually quicker by his teammate by around 0.6 of a second, and that's already put a 1.4 second gap between these two. I mean, that's how quick Donate is in a Mustang at Spa. Really incredible. Well then, Harry is on the back of the Lexus, but unfortunately for Harry, it's the wrong place, wrong time, because that Lexus will pull away ever so slightly from Harry. See Harry in the Aston, so deficit won't be as much as other cars, but nonetheless quite a bit. But I do believe, if I'm correct, actually, yeah, it's Bruno. I don't remember him going off track at all, but I think Bruno has unfortunately come off the track, and that has put him in the moment in last place. So unfortunate start for Bruno, but he'll be looking to try and recover. He has got the pace, so it's just trying to making the place then. But Harry then side by side with the Lexus as they come towards Pouan now. Harry on the outside, Lexus on the inside. You might imagine that the Lexus had the benefit, but it doesn't. Harry goes all the way around the outside to make a fantastic move at Pouan to get past and make his way back up into 13th place. Great move from Harry then as he looks onwards to Kelly and then to join the train, which goes all the way up to Omran in P7. He was currently on the back of Barry Gibbons, so it goes all the way up to P6 really. In the mean of things, but Harry's got a little bit of time to catch before he gets to this train. But either way, the Bentley then on the back of the McLaren. The Bentley will win the straight line speed battle, but the McLaren's going to win the corner one. So this will be quite an interesting one to watch for sure. We'll go on the passenger cam for Rasmus at the moment. You see braking a lot later than McLaren, holds the line better than McLaren even. You see the McLaren a little bit squirrely over the curbs, and I think Omran's probably got a better exit out of that, and accompanied with his straight line speed, you like to imagine that this will be a pass for the Bentley driver very shortly. I like to imagine this Bentley will try to get the pass done when they get past Eau Rouge, but either way, that McLaren's going to be so quick up Eau Rouge, it really, we'll have to find out, but it's 0.3 of a second the gap at the moment. We'll go on board with Barry Gibbons' wing cam to show you what it's looking like. Bentley gets a little bit of a cut from the Bentley, actually. It's going to invalidate his lap time. We must probably get a warning from that as well, as Kinos is quite strict when you cut Eau Rouge. So you can cut it quite a bit, but if you cut it too much, it is a warning. The Bentley holds off for now then, and they'll be looking to try pick this up elsewhere. But meanwhile then, actually Hanak has got within a second of Michael Firth, and Yusufi's not that far behind either. Obviously it was expected. I mean, these two Mustangs are quite incredibly fast for Michael to catch, but you never know. But it has allowed Hanak actually to catch up. So we'll have to see if this battle develops for a podium place. Obviously it is P3 on offer for this battle. Meanwhile then, we're still watching the Bentley try and get past the McLaren. if he can. I like to imagine wants to get past as quickly as possible and try and see if he can catch this little battle with Michael first if he can. They're not that far behind. Get more, and I say a little. It's only 5 seconds, but it's still possible to catch if they continue to battle it out. Of course. Either way, I think Hanak actually had a much better exit than the Ferrari, and I like to imagine Hanak were trying to make the pass on Michael. Literally within the next couple of corners, you can see Hanak looking to the outside, can't get the pass, has to lift to avoid bumping into Michael, of course. But I wonder if Hanak's going to try and send it up the inside. Looks about it, but doesn't go for it. Michael didn't really bother thinking about covering it off just yet. So either they're trying to work together to catch Williams, or Hanak's just trying to play the patient game. At the moment, we'll have to find out. Obviously, only 10 minutes of racing has been completed, but I think Maple's made a massive mistake. Maple's spun at the exit of the final corner. Harry's gone off as well. So maybe it's a random lack of grip for a bit of everyone in that final corner. But Maple loses around 4 positions out of that, unfortunately, and now under threat from Kelly. So not really what they wanted at all. But Hanak then still chasing Michael. We know how quick that McLaren is up Eau Rouge, and I like to imagine that Hanak will be trying to use as much of the straight line speed advantage he has on the Ferrari now to make a pass. See the Ferrari in the middle of the track, Hanak to the inside. Ferrari's giving a big squeeze as they head towards this tricky little section. Hanak backs out of it and actually puts the Ferrari off. Ferrari goes a little bit deep. Hanak's going to look for a switchback. All the way around the outside goes Hanak. Doesn't think about it again, but might switch again. Has a little bit of a twitch in that McLaren, but doesn't think about it, but then cuts to the inside again. All the while this battle goes on, Yusufi is going to be behind, and you can see Yusufi's already caught up. This is fantastic racing to see indeed, but you can see how much quicker that McLaren is against that Ferrari in these corners. Hanak actually taking a lot of grass on the exit of that corner. It's not really helped his line at all. Either way, Hanak trying to put the pressure on as much as he can. But again, maybe Michael a lack of concentration, because all the while Yusufi has caught up to this, and obviously the longer this goes on, the more Barry Gibbons can catch as well. It's not really a matter of pace. It's the more time these guys lose, it's better for the rest of the grid. But either way, Hanak was really looking for a move, but did back out of it, which is quite interesting. They'll have to see how he gets on, but it's again get the better exit on Michael through 16 and 17. You can see how dominant that McLaren is, but Hanak goes off. Hanak misses the line. I don't think he'll lose too much because of that, but has lost a couple of tenths, and actually going to put Yusufi in contention to potentially overtake Hanak. So we've got plenty of action. I'm actually on board with Yusufi. You can see how much that McLaren pulls away just through some of these fast, high-speed corners. But you can see a Hanak up ahead, then potentially looking for the move in the mirrors and the inside. No contact. That looked very close, but Hanak holding for now. Maybe just putting the pressure on at the moment and trying to force Michael into a mistake potentially, but all the while it is costing Hanak time. You can see the gap difference just from that picture. Yusufi is closer to Hanak as Yusufi makes a dive up the inside on Hanak. It does look like Hanak avoided that, but Hanak is really getting the better exit because of Yusufi's dive. So it'll be a drag race up to Eau Rouge then, but for these two, Yusufi has to tuck in. But either way, great racing, but that has meant Hanak is now almost a second down to Michael first. You can see Yusufi cutting Eau Rouge. It didn't really look like he well, it looked quite purposeful, to be honest, but either way, almost probably get a warning because of that. But that is quite interesting nonetheless. Pryor is in the pit lane at the moment. I don't know what that's for particularly, but either way, but the battle here, obviously only 30 minutes left. I mean, only a 45-minute race. There's no mandatory pit stop, so there won't be any scheduled pit stops for these guys. But if they've got to fuel it right and take good care of the tyres, otherwise they'll start to burn out quite quickly. We know, per one, especially the corner they're coming up to now, is quite demanding on the tyres. So if they've got to manage it and take the corner well, otherwise they'll be scrubbing their tyres all across the corner, which will quite wear them out quite quickly, potentially raise the temperatures and just eventually just shred the tyre to pieces, which is not really what they want. But you can see Hanak hasn't really caught Michael all too much on this lap. Yusufi's actually got closer to Hanak, and Hanak has got closer to Michael. So maybe Hanak losing a little bit of concentration from Yusufi's dive. but I would imagine these two will want to try and work together to try and catch back up to Michael, because they know once Hanak was closed up to Michael how much pressure Michael was under. He was making mistakes and in a way just so much slower out of the corners than these two. So we'll have to see how they get on. But meanwhile then is Lorenzo Longo currently on the back of Samuel. Ferrari versus McLaren. McLaren's going to be better in these high-speed corners, but it looked like the Ferrari had still a much better line. And actually, Lorenzo might be looking for a move. He doesn't think about it this time, but we'll be trying to set it up potentially on Samuel relatively shortly. Meanwhile, then you can see actually Hanak has closed up to the back of Michael again. Not too much. You can see actually Michael getting all over the yellow sausage curb on the left out on the exit of turn 1. Which is not really going to help his speed coming up to Eau Rouge. Not much difference, but still in a battle like this it means quite a lot having top speed. You can see Usby does take Eau Rouge properly this time. Either way, this could be quite an interesting battle in this final 30 minutes of this race for P3. So you've got some of the fastest drivers that we have in ACM all fighting for one position. You see Usby, massive slide for Usby, has to cut the corner. Rear came out so much there. I actually wonder if he's gained any time because of that. It doesn't seem like it, but massive slide for Usby as he came through the exit that corner. But Hanak then slowly catching. But yeah, maybe that's a sign of Usby really starting to try and push and catch on to these guys. You can see how much curb he's using compared to the rest of them. I like to imagine Hanak even is trying to use the limit of his McLaren, all the top speed it's got in these corners to try and catch up to the back of Firth, of course. But you see Usby's actually made a mistake at through pole 1. He's actually a second down in Hanak just through that corner alone. It's that or Hanak's picked up the pace, because Hanak is pretty much on the bumper of Michael Firth already. And once again this battle has reignited, and I like to imagine Hanak getting the better exit at this corner as well. You can see how confident that McLaren is through these corners. I like to imagine the gap is not as close as it was before, but either way, Hanak is once again back in this fight for P3. And if these guys battle out again, Usby will be forced to join in once again. So we're sort of revitalised the main of this battle. And I like to imagine Hanak will try to make the move this time. He won't want to stay behind for all too long. A lot later on the brakes is Michael Firth actually than Hanak in that corner particularly. You see how much Usby closed as well. So maybe Hanak just trying to hold off, trying to study Michael as much as he can. I don't recollect these two, or Michael and Hanak, fighting all too much, so I could be wrong, but either way it could be a new game for both of them, and they're just trying to work out each other, where they break, where they corner, and where they struggle the most. That's what they'll be looking out for. Also, we know Usby and Hanak have raced each other many a time, so they'll know each other quite well. Usby got quite close to track limits there, as he's still trailing behind around 7/10 of a second to these two. But I'd like to imagine Hanak will need to try and get past if he's doesn't want to get held up all too much by Michael Firth. I mean, we know by now the fight for the top two is pretty much done and dusted. We know how strong those Mustangs are, but either way, this could be quite an interesting battle for P3 at the moment. You see, actually Michael's made a mistake. He's actually allowed Hanak to get really close to the back of the Ferrari. Holds on for now, but Hanak using all the curb on the exit. It's what he really needs to do, and that, he needs to really use as much of that McLaren as he can, that McLaren advantage I should say, against the Ferrari. Because the Ferrari is one of these cars, suspension wise, it hates Spa, especially coming up Eau Rouge. If you make one wrong step at Eau Rouge in the Ferrari, it's pretty much game over, because it will snap at you and send you straight to the barriers. But Michael Firth just having a little bit of a twitchy section, nothing too wrong, but Hanak much faster, and again Hanak much faster through 16 and 17 as to come towards the back straight. Then Hanak is much closer than he was last time. We'll have to see if he tries to make a move coming into the final couple of corners of this lap. So only 8 laps completed so far, so still quite early onto this race, but hopefully the tyres will rub it in by now. I'd like to imagine they have. See how close Hanak is. Again, makes himself big in the mirrors, but doesn't want to go for the moves just yet. So still trying to stack on the pressure on Michael, but he can't do that for too long, otherwise he's going to start getting involved like we saw last time. And Hanak actually lost time to Michael when Yusuf did that, so I'll have to keep an eye on this battle for now. But meanwhile then, Longo still on the back of Samuel, and he'll be looking to try and get past as soon as possible. I also say that as Maple trying to recover from their early mistake, as Maple's done a fantastic job to recover already. It was already pulled away 2 seconds to Kelly, and now on the back of Abassi in the other Mustang. So I have to keep an eye on all of these battles, of course. Gap's around 0.3 of a second at the moment. We know that Mustang is going to be quicker in a straight line, so not much Maple can do there. Maple has to try find all the lap time in the corners and just really hope for the best, as both those drivers cutting a Rouge then. It's not really what they would have wanted, but either a warning or a no-time gain for both of them. Meanwhile then, Hanak still chasing. Michael Firth is, again, the Ferrari seem to be taking a different line than the McLaren. It looks like a mistake from the Ferraris, but I think it's just the way they're trying to rotate the car. You see Yusuf dropped off by 1.3 seconds now. So maybe Yusuf has no more push left in him. But Hanak is really close to the back of Michael Firth now then, pretty much in range to send one up the inside. Gap's 0.5 of a second at the moment. You can see Hanak's looking pretty much everywhere. Where can he make the move? I'll be interested to see if he does make the move or he holds off again. We'll have to find out, of course, but at the moment then it looks like a very strong exit from Hanak out of 16, another strong exit out of 17. And I could keep saying this every lap, but Hanak is again within contention to send a move. The gap is 0.1 of a second, and as announced by the announcer, halfway mark of this race, 22 minutes left on the clock. Hanak looking to the outside, can't make the move. Michael Firth is defending the inside brilliantly, as Hanak goes all the way around the outside. Michael Firth has to defend the inside, and again switches to the inside, and Hanak has no choice but to unfortunately cede his chance once again. But still very great racing between these two, and we'll have to obviously keep an eye on this as it goes forward. We know Michael Firth is starting to struggle potentially against the McLaren. Like I said before, it isn't a track for the Ferrari really excels. It is a McLaren track in that such, but just to show you what I mean, we'll go on passenger cam with Michael Firth. You can see how bumpy that is, and if you compare it to the McLaren or a Porsche, it will be quite smooth compared to that. But you can see Hanak then 0.2 of a second behind Michael Firth. Is going to look to the inside, again backs out of it. So Hanak just trying to put on the pressure, and it has put on the pressure again for Michael Firth as he looks to the outside again. Does Hanak? He might go again for another switchback on Michael Firth. He does. He looks to the inside again. This time Hanak is alongside, and Hanak is still holding the inside, hugging it tight to the curb. Michael Firth has to go all the way around the outside. He can't, and Hanak has now pushed himself up into P3. Fantastic move from Lucas then to make his way up into P3. Great pressure tactics as well to try and put the pressure on me. Again, trying to make himself as big as possible in the mirrors and just put off Michael as much as he can, and he did so brilliantly, and has allowed himself to go up into P3 then. Also, all that fighting has allowed Yusuf to close the gap again. Obviously only 20 minutes remain in this race, so not long all too much, but I think actually Michael Firth has made another mistake, because it allowed Yusuf to close quite a bit already. Obviously there'll be no advantages between these two cars because they're both Ferraris. It'll all be in the setup, what wing they're using, and I'm interested to know what wing they are using, because obviously in a Ferrari, and like I said, Upper Rouge, and some of these corners can be really tricky in terms of suspension. You can see how Yusuf's car was pretty much, it looked like it was sliding, and that is just because it is not really a car for it. But you can see Yusuf making a late lunge on Michael Firth, and unfortunately does spin him round. It does wait for him nicely, and again that does lose some time from Hanak, around 5 seconds come the end of that, actually maybe around 4.5 seconds, but either way maybe a little bit too late for Usby, or a little bit too early for Michael. I didn't really get a reading of where they braked, to be honest. But either way, Usby has waited for Michael first. A great sportsmanship there, and now we're looking to re-continue their battle indeed. But speaking of battles, is Kelly on the back of Will Gossel then? I think Kelly's actually lost his position, so try and make it back, as Will's made a great recovery as well. You see Kelly just tucking behind the Audi for now, making himself, like we seem like Hanak did, as big as possible in the mirrors, and just try and put the pressure on. As actually, I think he's done so. As he was thinking about a move, but I think the Audi's got the better acceleration than that 488 does. Kelly's still holding on nice at the moment, and he is still looking to the outside, but has to hold on for now, as they will continue on this battle at the moment. As you see Kelly still on the back straight then, might even pull out to the outside. He does pull out to the outside. Is the 488 on the inside now? The Audi all the way has to hug the inside curb, pushes Kelly a little bit. Kelly's going to go all the way around the outside and cuts back to the inside, and makes another brilliant move, and that's Kelly up into P14 then. Makes a move on Will Gossel. But these two very close, of course. We'll have to keep an eye on this battle reignites, or if it pulls away, we'll have to keep an eye on it. But either way, a great move for Kelly to push himself up into P14 in that. Oh well, I don't really see that car all too much. So great to see it back in action and being as competitive as it is. Either way, then, Usby still trailing Michael. The gap's about the same as it is between Will and Kelly. So have to keep an eye on both of these battles, of course, but either or, just for information, Usby's last lap was a 2:22.4, whereas Michael first was a 2:23.0, and Hanak's was a 2:18.6. So that's how much time they actually lost from all that battling and that contact that we saw. So obviously contact is not really ideal, but Usby then trailing around 1 second, but Will potentially looking for a re-overtake on Kelly. These two are still quite close. The gap's around 0.3 of a second at the moment. I'm not too familiar with the Audi and where its strongest points are, nor am on the 488 all too much, but let's keep an eye and just try make a good judgment as we watch it. Either way, Kelly then 0.8 of a second still ahead of Will, and we'll be looking to go much quicker. Actually, Kelly goes 1 second quicker in lap time, quicker than Will does. So if Kelly can pull away, this won't be much of a battle, much more. Either way, that's Samuel. Samuel's made a Samuel's actually gone off at Eau Rouge and has returned to the pit lane. I think he's probably made a mistake. Up Eau Rouge is quite tricky. Well, one of the, it is, if not the trickiest corner to nail every lap. So unfortunate to see, but it does happen to everyone once in a while. Let me see if I can, Harry. How's your race going, and how's it looking chasing down Daniel?
Certainly not the best at all, to be honest. I've had a lot of mistakes. Obviously, I had the mistake at the start where you saw me go up into the barriers while I was battling Samuel. And from there, really, it's not really been good. I've seen Kelly spin out in front of me. I need to spin out myself, and yeah.
Maybe not the best of days, of course, but either way, just trying to reel in that Lexus, I guess. But I'd imagine it's quite tricky, considering the Lexus is quite quick in a straight line.
Yeah, that Lexus in front has certainly been a battle. I've got past him one time, but it's going to have to be a second time now. I did spin the lap before on the exit of the final corner, the bus stop chicane. So I lost out 2 or 3 positions there. So yeah, that Lexus is a real beast on the straight, especially considering how slow this Aston Martin is with plus 17 or whatever I've got kilograms.
Yeah, obviously Harry is talking about the custom ballast, and if you don't know what I mean by that, obviously it's all part of career mode. Obviously in career mode you can purchase your own cars, create your own teams, of course, assign your own drivers and select your own sponsors as well. Obviously in the trial season at the moment, obviously Supercharged Sunday is a part of career mode. That is why everyone has got a little bit of different ballast. For example, Donate here on the screen currently has minus 24 kilograms. So it would sort of explain some of his amazing qualifying lap times, but either way, don't get mistaken for the raw driver pace and skill. But either way, obviously Karim had a fantastic opportunity, and obviously plenty more to come January in the full release. So make sure you get yourself signed up, of course. Obviously it's in that QR code in the bottom left of your screen that does take you to the website where you can find out more information, and join the Discord server as well, and obviously come have a chat with all of us, and if you're not already. Either way then, 14 minutes left of this race, as like I said, you still have Donate on your screens, and 7 seconds ahead of Williams, his teammate, and last lap he did a 17.8, and pretty much I'm pretty sure when I was keeping an eye on it, it's been doing those lap times well within 17s and 18s quite consistently. So quite an impressive pace from the Mustang driver, and he'll be looking to take another win in ACM as well. Like I mentioned, his teammate as well, currently in P2, trailing by 7.2 seconds. Also been doing consistent lap times in the 17s and 18s, and he'll be looking as well to finish around 8 seconds ahead of Hanak. Obviously, we did see got past Michael Firth by putting a little bit of pressure on as well. So that's great to see from Hanak as well, as he's now ahead of Michael by around 4 seconds. Obviously, speaking of Michael and Newsby, then Newsby still hovering around 1 second from Michael, so maybe won't push as much as he would liked, and we'll have to see if that changes in the last 12 minutes. But Kelly then, now behind Kelly. Kelly behind Kelly, I mean Kelly behind Harry. And Harry will have to look in his mirrors this time, as he has got that old Ferrari. It does sound quite nice, like I said already. So we'll have to see how that battle unfolds. The gap's around 9/10 of a second at the moment. And obviously now Maple has once again closed the gap to the Mustang, but as I said before, it will be quite a hard one to win for Maple, as Maple has to do all the work in the corners, because this Mustang will just pull away in the straights. So it won't be the easiest of battles for Maple, but we'll have to see how they get on. Meanwhile then, Nikon still not having the best of races at the moment. It's setting some good lap times, but it's just maybe not having the best start to the race, and at the moment it's just trying to continue on. It's currently in P15, trailing Will Gossel then by 3 seconds, and the pace he's doing, I'd like to imagine he'll catch up to him before the end of the race, so hopefully we'll have another battle on our hands as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. It's not been the most fantastic of races, but either way, also had a great result actually in the 2 hours. Kyle Army finished P3, so it was pretty much a strategic masterclass from Nikon. If you didn't check that out, that was obviously in partnership with Sim Haven as well. But still, Nikon will be looking for a good result in Supercharged Sunday. Maybe not the best start, like I said, but either way, can still make a few good places. And obviously, like I was mentioning, other drivers as well. Then, Kelly still chasing Harry, and Maple still chasing Abassi, and I used to be still chasing Michael. Other than that, it's gone pretty quiet. But it's still fantastic to see how close all these guys are after quite a long time of racing. Obviously, it's been 35 minutes of racing, 10 minutes to go then until this race, well, the checkered flag falls, and well, basically Donate wins the race by a mile, almost probably quite literally. But either way then, we'll continue to watch Maple, as Maple is currently the closest to chasing down the Mustang. Last lap was a 19.7 compared to Abassi's 20.0, so 0.3 a lap advantage for Maple. But obviously Maple, like I said, has to find all the time in the corners where the Mustang can just sit and relax on the straights And for perspective, I'll go on the wing cam of the Mustang. The gap's currently 0.3 of a second. Actually, the Mustang making a mistake. I think that was a little bit of a break up the Eau Rouge for the Mustang. It's going to allow Maple around the outside. I was trying to demonstrate how quick the Mustang is in a straight line, but if he breaks up Eau Rouge, it's going to allow Maple around the outside and gets the pass done before the corner. But the Mustang's actually going to fight back into the corner. But Maple does get away with that, luckily. But yeah, I mean, I was just trying to explain, obviously, how quick the Mustang is. The Mustang tries to go for the re-overtake again. But yeah, I mean, I was trying to demonstrate Mustang straight line speed, but instead we got Porsche straight line speed. And that is Maple up into P9 then, so great move from Maple to make most of that advantage and well, that mistake from the Mustang. But I think the Mustang, obviously making use of its straight line speed, might even try and fight back. Obviously come back straight, of course, and I'd like to imagine this Mustang will be trying to get past again. Maybe this is what Maple is struggling with, can get past, but just can't hold the position because he can't well, drive away fast enough from the Mustang to make the straight line speed slipstream go away. Obviously the slipstream starts within 0.8 of a second, but it really picks up around 0.4 of a second. So that is roughly what you need to know, but it is currently 0.2 of a second between these two, and obviously I'd like to imagine, with Maple also making a mistake on the exit, this will be a pass for Abassi then. Side by side they go, and I'd like to imagine this will be a pass for the Mustang, but they're still going to be side by side actually, coming into the fast right-hander, still side by side. I did not expect this, and the Mustang on the inside then, and now has officially passed Maple, but it was off the track, so I'm interested to know if that will count as a overtake outside the circuit, but up to the stewards to see that one. As I wasn't really seeing, but I'm pretty sure that Mustang went outside the circuit. But either way, Maple still trying to look to fight this one back. As Maple on the outside, then Mustang still on the inside. Maple going to go for an easy cutback and actually get the acceleration, that Porsche acceleration coming in clutch down the straight then towards Eau Rouge. They're going to be side by side. Unfortunately, the Mustang is going to pull away from that one. But if the Mustang makes another mistake up Eau Rouge, of course, it will be allowed Maple to gain. Maple did get the better exit, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think I can finally demonstrate what I mean by Mustang straight line speed. The gap is 0.2 of a second at the moment, but I think the Porsche is holding on with the slipstream. So great move. Actually, Maple looking to the inside, just trying to put a little bit of pressure on the Mustang. Of course, that was great racing from these two. It was not something I was all too much expecting. Either way, then Maple still trying to chase down this Mustang. It's great to see a Porsche, basically two opposites of a car. A car that can corner really well, has no straight line speed, versus a car that can't corner very well and has amazing top speed. So great to see a battle so balanced between these two actually in cars like that. But meanwhile then, like I said, Nikon then on the back of Will Gossel. The gap was only 3 seconds, and Nikon has indeed caught up like I said he would. And 6 minutes to go. Nikon will be looking for a move to pull on a little bit of contact on the rear bumper of the Audi. Nothing major, but they go through a pull, and then Nikon doesn't think about it just yet. He's going to have to hold off just for a little bit longer, and obviously only got 6 minutes left, so he's going to try to think about making the move now. He can't wait too long, otherwise he might not get the move done at all. Either way then, he should get the pass done, because the lap times has been setting compared to Will. Pretty straightforward, but either way he's got to still make his way past. Much better exit for the Ferrari than the Audi, and I like to imagine this Ferrari will trying to look for a pass on the Audi. Coming this back straight, you can go on board with Nike, and then side by side they go, and Will on the inside for this corner. And I think we're going to get another side by side action, but actually the Audi is going to pull ahead from the Ferrari. We can see the Ferrari through the corner is much quicker, and actually allow massive Will, the curb touch for Will. So unfortunately, yeah, I mean you saw what happened there. He caught the curb, and that low bumper of the Audi just caught the curb and it sent him across the grass. Unfortunately, losing the position to Nikon then, but either way, unfortunate. But I think it was just a matter of when rather than how. Either way, Maple still chasing the Mustang, hasn't given up yet. and we'll be looking to put the pressure on. But either way, we'll have to see how they get on. But I think that's Bruno. As you can see, it will be a blue flag driver to these guys, but we know Bruno is going to be quicker. It's still great to see Bruno continuing to race after maybe not the best start. We'll have to navigate these two relatively quickly if he doesn't want to make too much impact on these guys' races. Either way, you can see how quick that Porsche is in a straight line and on the acceleration on the exit of these corners compared to that Mustang. But we'll have to see how the Maple gets on. But it's been a fantastic race for Maple. Obviously qualified, fantastic lean. Has done a fantastic race, I think, apart from one mistake that we saw. But either way, has done a great race and is still going to finish in the top 10 if they hold on nicely. Meanwhile then, Harry has broke the 1 second to the Lexus ahead. Like he said, he was catching and he has caught, but now it's just a matter of trying to gain all the time in the corners and try and limit the Lexus advantage in the straight line. Like we saw before, it's not too much of a deficit for the Aston in the straight line, but obviously it's still going to lose out a little bit, so has to try and maximise all the exit. But I think the Lexus actually got quite a poor exit, as Harry's actually closed the gap by half a second while I was talking. So quite nice to hopefully see a battle continue. But like I said, that Lexus straight line speed has already gained a tenth on the straight alone, so and now 2 tenths. So yeah, we'll have to see how this battle unfolds, of course. But Maple on the back of the Mustang, really close, might even look for a move into turn 1. They go. Maple on the outside, Mustang on the middle. Maple actually look for the switchback. The acceleration on the Porsche is going to allow him to get alongside and past the Mustang before Eau Rouge then. Fantastic move by Maple, but now the Mustang on the back straight. Not much Maple can do here. We know that Mustang is going to be much quicker in a straight line. But a little bit of a mistake from the Mustang actually is going to allow the blue flag of the BMW to get past. And I think that mistake has actually allowed Maple to be set free just a little bit. So quite lucky from Maple then. But that BMW now has to get past Maple without interfering in this race too much. You can see the BMW does get out of the way, thankfully, because I don't think he was going to pull away that gap. So again, great sportsmanship nonetheless. But the Mustang now has an 8-tenth gap to Maple. It obviously only was around 3 tenths. So the advantage that the Mustang had has sort of disappeared. Obviously still within range to pull a gap, but that Mustang has to do a little bit of catching up game. If Maple just continues to set consistent lap times and that Mustang makes a few mistakes while catching up, then Maple, you would like to imagine, will get this free. More importantly though, Donate, it will set his final lap of the session. We'll get confirmation from the announcer in a few seconds.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap
There
now.
you get it.
All you can.
The leader is on final lap then. So like I was saying, it is a fantastic start to this race from Donate. 10 seconds is the gap to Williams behind, and has led pretty much a very quiet race. But either way, fantastic pace from well, everyone really in the top 5. It's been great watching all these battles unfold as well. And still great pace, obviously in quali, a dominating lap from Thiago, 8 tenths ahead of his teammate in quali alone. Now it's 10 seconds in the race. By the way, we'll have to come back to him as Harry's quite close to the back of the Lexus, is on the back straight, so maybe not too much, but Harry will get the slipstream because he is this close, so obviously the deficit not mattering all too much at the moment. But I think Harry will be going onto his final lap with the Lexus, so he'll have one more lap to try and get past. So will the Mustang. The gap is around 8 tenths of a second, so we'll have to see how they get on. I'm still keeping an eye on where Donate is on track compared to these guys, but obviously Harry is quite close to the back of this Lexus, and hopefully we'll be looking at trying to make a last lap move on the Lexus. Obviously we know that Lexus is a lot quicker in the straight line, but obviously it's all about the corners for Harry. Harry has to focus on the corners and just see if he can get a better exit and just try to limit the deficit on the straight. Obviously we know that they get around 4 tenths of a second then, and I imagine this will start to increase. Yeah, it's now 5 tenths of a second, and obviously that will just keep going up and up, now 6 tenths of a second, and obviously it's not really what Harry would have wanted at all. But we'll go back to Donate. On the back straight then, for the last time, Thiago, like I said, has led a brilliant race and has pretty much dominated this entire round 2 of Supercharged Sunday, and obviously we'll be returning to the 60-minute with the stop next week. Obviously it's just interchanging between, but either way, a fantastic race from Thiago as he will now cross towards the line for a fantastic race win in round 2 of Supercharged Sunday. So congratulations to him,
Has finished the race.
and obviously congratulations to Williams as well. He's done a brilliant job as well, but I have to quickly cut back as Harry actually alongside the Lexus in the final sector. They go, Harry getting past the Lexus then. Lexus sort of backed out of that one, didn't really want to get involved too much, but great last lap move from Harry then. As Hank finishes P3, Michael Firth 4th, and he used to be 5th after not a fantastic race start. And it'll be Barry Gibbons in P6. Great race from Barry to get into P6. And we had Rasmus in the Bentley then, finishing P7. And again, a fantastic race from the Bentley. And then it'll be Longo in P8, another great race for Lorenzo. Then it'll be Maple and the Mustang. Also, the Mustang unfortunately did not get the re-overtake, but a fantastic race for Maple to finish P9, and obviously Abassi P10. Obviously, then the battle we just saw, Harry overtaking the Lexus on the last lap, will get in a slot back into P11, and we'll finish the race in P11. And obviously the Lexus of Daniel in P12. And then be Kelly in P13, Nikon almost catching Kelly in P14, Will in P15, and then it'll be Leopard will be the next to cross the line, as Loic is a lap down, so he will be finishing his lap when he crosses the line as well. So either way, it's been a fantastic race, Harry, and it was a great last lap overtake.
Yeah, that was a long time coming. I mean, I've been trying to catch that Lexus for the best part of the last 20 or so minutes, so yeah, it was certainly nice to get it done in the last lap.
Yeah, definitely it was quite intense to see as well. By the way then, it will be Loic next across the line. Had a relatively quiet race, but still a fantastic race obviously to be racing. A great experience for any driver, of course, as he makes a little bit of a lock up into the final corners. Either way, we'll then cross the line then. He'll be finishing P17, and the next person to cross the line will be Leopard then. He'll be finishing in P16, actually maybe P15 if race control stops bugging out a little bit, but either way, it'll be Vladimir then in P15, and he'll cross the line, the last cross the line. Either way then, fantastic race from everyone. Obviously Donate dominating that one, and Williams, his teammate, in second, Anak P3, Michael Firth in P4, USB P5, and obviously fantastic battles all up and down the grid. Great to see. And obviously you want to get involved, obviously like I said, scan that QR code or go to the ACM website if you haven't already, and we'll be back again very shortly, obviously for more ACM action in career mode. So if you want to check that out, please do.